Hi, guys. I am recording my reading that is on the Connecticut River Valley Killer. Uh, there was a series of deaths that occurred over a decade, I think between 70, maybe 78 to 88. And it was around the New Hampshire, Connecticut area. Sorry, my card's stuck. Um, and relatively nearby. So, what I'm just going to do is to try to focus on what we can get from the cards about who the suspect uh, is, as like their kind of their profile in essence. What kind of individual will they ever be caught? Just going to see what the cards can share. So we'll see. And I will include in the description box links for you to explore, to further investigate on your own more about this case. But I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. I have been so busy that honestly, when I have the weekend to film, it has been kind of booked up, just been busy. So I appreciate you guys being very patient. All right, so I want to ask the Holy Spirit and my guides and those of the victims and their spirits. Who was this individual? Who is the person or persons responsible for this spate of killing that went on in and around the New Hampshire area for about 10 years, and then it seemed to stop. So I want to know why. There's like a number of questions really to ask. But let's just see what we get first, like as a description about what's the cards want to show about the person that is, or persons that are guilty of committing these offenses. What can the cards tell us? What are details that we need to know about the suspect? Because this person's never been caught, or persons maybe even. Sometimes you have more than one person operating in that capacity, if you catch my drift. So let's see what we get. We're getting a learned, very skilled individual with the Eight of Pentacles. I keep getting this card every time I try and read on this case. For instance, I was asked about a particular person of interest. I don't want to bring up his name because I feel that it is not him at all, and because he's not sophisticated enough, and he is not um, doesn't have the comprehensive skills. So we have someone that was doing this, was very skilled person, very educated, in my opinion. Could have been a teacher or a student at the time, but their work is advanced. It would be like they would have to have a degree, this sort of thing. Let me shift because I'm sliding. And then we get the Four of Wands with that. So it makes me feel like they would really go unsuspected in society. It feels like they probably had a home, family, and a good paying job, and a job that was in a very sound position, one of where particular education was used, I feel like. Likely. This was like an advanced type of person here, rather job. It's not just you'd have to have a degree. So it looks like they have a home, um, and a good job, and they're very educated, almost to the point that I'm feeling there's a bit of almost a coldness, but I feel that they knew how to put on the mask of a well or happy, well adjusted individual with this Four of Wands. And I do think they could have been married, had a family, and a good job. I'm getting the Page of Pentacles again. There is some exposure, some light on the Page of Pentacles, maybe even a child or a young child. The page would be, a very small child. And the sun. That also is an emphasis on a young child, almost like toddler. I'm wondering if this was a way of relieving stress, if they were part of a family and they were just having their first child, or because I'm getting the home and I'm getting a small child, a good job. And help is being offered with the Six of Pentacles. And look at this, though. There's some underhanded business going on. So this makes me feel like they may have used a front of helping someone or volunteering time to look like a really great person that is very helpful. But this is actually a means to go and do something very underhanded or sneaky, sly, get away with it, you know, not being 100% transparent about the help that you're quote unquote giving, or whatever it is that you say that you're doing. That looks like with these cards, it would make me doubt any kind of excuse that they may have used. Also makes me feel like people would have thought of them as a very generous person, but underneath the surface, here we have the Seven of Swords. We have someone that likes to try and get away with things. That right there tells us that this is somebody that likes risk, and that kind of likes that cover up and the secretiveness. Makes them even feel, I think, perhaps more intelligent. Um, I'm getting the Nine of Wands and the Star. They liked, I feel like, the notoriety. This made them feel intelligent. Once again, as where I was going, and they saw their handiwork and the fear that this was causing. And I think they got kind of caught up in that. They may have even participated in looking for or defending, acting like someone that would be part of helping people to defend themselves against this individual. Like, oh, I'll walk you home, or, I'm not sure, but this person's going to give you the exact opposite impression if they can. And again, I feel like this is the notoriety for what they were getting up to, which was assaulting people and causing harm. Yeah, we have someone that doesn't isn't connected to the lovers. I feel like their ability to be empathetic, their ability to really connect deeply, emotionally, and physically in a meaningful way, romantically, I feel like shows they have a disconnect. And I think they get bored. And that's why they would seek out to act out against women. There was a certain boredom, a certain flat effect when it comes to a romantic connection. So that shows up right away that there's a problem there for them with intrapersonal romantic relationships, a lack of feeling, and a lack of feeling connected. Here we have one of the women that I think that survived. That's her last name is, I think, Borowski, Jane, I think it was. Now she was a mother, and pardon my allergies, but she was pregnant. And I feel like this is her. I was just listening to some of her account on a podcast. Um, and back in 88, I think it was, so she may have been the last one or one of the last ones. Um, it was the 80s anyhow, and it struck me that it was probably toward the latter part of the 80s and toward the end of the activity with this uh, area, having people go missing and be found. You know, I don't know if all of them were found or not. I'm going to have to look at that. Anyway, this is her. I feel like this is the one woman that survived his attack that I'm being shown. She was pregnant, and miraculously, despite being injured over and over again with a sharp object, trying to avoid YouTube censorship here, neither the baby nor the mother uh, were given a mortal wound, but both had to fight for their lives as a result of this attack at different points because of injuries and wounds, so on and so forth. Um, but the baby was not, uh, amazingly enough, not harmed their body. Just the mother, this Jane. I feel like this is her. And this is clarity. And I think this is her. We're being shown this person's, she stands out to them. And she did, because one of the things that she says that she said was that she drove up to this market and she went to get a soda. Um, she was thirsty and she was craving a soda. So she goes in, she gets a soda, she gets back in her car, and there's this guy that parks up. He gets out. She's not too concerned about him. And before she knows it, he's kind of making his way around her vehicle, and he's asking her just a comment, I think, about one of the shops or something really mundane, and as one might, in passing. And then he starts trying to get into her car and attack her. And it happened very quickly. But one of the things that she said to him was, he claimed that she was someone that had beaten up his quote unquote girlfriend. And she says, I don't know, basically, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't done anything like that. I don't even know who this person is. And he's asking about where she's from and her license plate. is not where he is claiming this person, I can't remember exactly, is from. Um, Somebody, I'm sure, will put it down here. The person that requested this, maybe he expected her to be from, and she says, no, then my name, my number plate, look at my license plate. I'm not from basically where you're saying. So he's walking off, but he had done something crazy before he really attacked her. And that was something to her windscreen. He may have cracked it, he may have broken it, I don't know, but he acted a bit nuts. And then he really went crazy when she said, hey, a-hole, what about my window or my windscreen? And that's when he came back and assaulted her. And that's who I feel like I'm being shown here. Yeah, she was able to walk away, but she did have a long time, that's showing up, of having to heal. And it took her a long time to regain some peace of mind from the trauma. I feel like that's showing up here. And he also was able to walk away from this without being caught. And she was able to walk away with her life. But this makes me feel like, too, this is also the person walking away that did this. I don't know. They may have met a female here, or I'm being shown another female here. But there is a more positive, it looks like, connection with the Two of Cups. So it looks like this individual ends up connecting with a woman. And maybe that's why things changed? I don't know. But you know what? Here's the hidden stuff. Here's the moon and the 10 of swords. And there was an end. So there was an end of a very brutal, hard cycle. And there's a woman, here going under the water. So I'm willing to say that maybe some were put in water if they weren't able to find them, or near water. That might be a possibility, just throwing it out there. Anyhow, she also could have been one of the last ones. It looks like there was an end of a cycle, an end of a very dark cycle. Fear. Maybe he didn't want to feel comfortable taking that risk again with this woman that he felt could turn him in if he got caught. Yeah, look. It looks like he goes off, sticking to himself, on his own with the hermit, or he's in a more, perhaps, away from a city setting. There's a sudden change, though, that is unexpected on his part in being kind of alone or remote. It could be an accident, and it could have been on his own. Yeah, there's some activity, and there's a great deal of worry, anxiety. So something happened to this individual, and they were by themselves at the time. They may have left family or been estranged and were on their own. I'm not sure what all the cards mean, but I feel like they are connecting with the individual responsible. So what else do we see? Yeah, something very quickly occurs. And I don't know if it's like an aneurysm or a stroke or a heart attack. but there's something very sudden, very abrupt, and this person feels like they're more alone and they're more trying to hide away. So I think that when that woman escaped, this person went into more of a hermit mode and was very worried about being caught. I think they could have come close to being caught, and they were on the run. I get with the motorbike here, I get a sense of this individual and that Eight of Wands moving around, traveling around, perhaps like a tri-state area of New Hampshire, with the other states that are nearby and stuff. I have a feeling that they kind of had a little orbit around there. Yeah. So there was a new cycle that came in, and it just was harder for this person to physically, I feel like, be able to go and commit these acts. I do feel like there was an accident of some kind, and this individual ended up having a lot of challenges, new challenges in their life. And I think it would have been difficult because they were used to relieving stress going and doing this. Yeah, I get justice in the world. So it could be that they will figure out, I think, who this individual is one day. I still think it's possible with justice here and the world. This really makes me feel like the law closes the chapter successfully. And I feel like someone's going to figure this person out, figure out who this person was. They probably already have like suspects. I think this is somebody that they've talked to before and may not even realized it's this person. Yeah, magician and the hanged man. I feel like it's somebody that they need to look at again. This person would be very good at persuading people and manipulating them with the magician. Very good at using their communicational skills, or they would be keen to try to, And with the hanged person, a hanged man, it shows the delay too with this case. And maybe in investigating and figuring out, there's the delay. Then we get the Chariot and the Five of Wands. I do think that this is a challenge that will be overcome by sheer perseverance of will with that Chariot. There's a lot of things that come up with these cases, should I say, that want to throw a wrench in it being successfully brought to a close. But I feel like the persistence and the will to meet the challenges will win out in the end. Yeah, I do. I feel like here's Death and here's the Hierophant. I feel like someone who is forensically specialized and is going to be able, I think, to get some insights here on the post-mortem of the victims, to be honest, and put pieces together in a very common sense way. And again, we get the cards that this was, I feel like, a man that was well educated or trained, quite intelligent, had more than probably basic education. Yeah, I get a King of Wands, and a nine of pentacles. They could have lived very comfortably at some point here. This could be that they came from money, but also that they made good money and they had a fairly comfortable environment. It also makes sense for that kind of a wands energy to be, I think this is the person involved. They're also very fond of living well, or were fond of living well, the comforts, their creature comforts. So I think they earned good money, whoever this was. I think there's a man that intuitively is suspicious, but doesn't know how to go forward with their suspicion of this male, this King of Wands. And I see a Queen of Cups and Temperance. There's something, I think, with a female, maybe one of the victims, that will bring answers with the Temperance card. There was something in excess, perhaps the excessive overkill way that it is done. There's something very telling. I think they'll be able to link up maybe with something in the past that they weren't able to make the jump. I do feel like we're shown another King of Pentacles here with the Ace of Wands. And I do feel like this could be somebody that's involved in solving this. And I feel like their mind is working overtime and is excited and has new kind of leads or pieces they're putting together actively. I think it will be something that people want to try to keep. There's some people have an attitude, it looks like, that they don't want to, they want to control everything. And they're just waiting, it looks like to me, for the right moment in the future to come forward again. Maybe this King of Pentacles is going to take another active role, that people get active again on it. Okay. Now let's just take a look and see if this individual is this person that is responsible for these deaths. Are they still alive? What can you tell us about the person responsible for these deaths in the Connecticut River Valley area, New Hampshire? Is this individual responsible for these things? Is this person still in a body? I get a Queen of Cups and a Two of Wands. I'm feeling like this could be a female relative. Oh, wow. Maybe it will come down to one of those, DNA kit ancestry type of things. I'm almost willing to bet that. Let me see the next two cards. The Magician and the Five of Swords. Yeah, this is a manipulative individual, somebody that's a bit of a bully, or will play mind games with people. They have to be right. They're very, this individual would be very competitive. It's that King of Wands would be that energy. There's an instability with the person, and then we're shown somebody that I think has to lie low, has to rest, has to heal, and there's an instability. So I think this person responsible endured some issues, and health wise too, that made them have to pull back and not be out. And it could be that their work as well was keeping them busy with that Two of Pentacles. The King of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles. I just feel that this person, I think, has gone back over to the other side with the ancestors. But this is interesting. Getting these two cards again, Hanged Man and the Ten of Swords. There was some kind of a delay, and I think it may have been a long illness, something that wasn't very pleasant. Let me take a look again and see if I can get a consensus, and I will leave this reading here for the moment and see if there's anything else that comes up. Is the individual responsible still incarnate? I don't think so. Three of Wands. It feels like they're observing, yeah, and maybe a bit stuck. Isn't that wild? I do. I feel like they haven't completely transitioned, but they're like an in-between realm. They're holding back. Oh, look at this. King of Cups and the Devil. Well, here we have, and I think to me this is when we're looking at this for this man emotionally. Again, there's problems. There could be addiction problems, and not just substance. There's addictive behavior that is evil, that is corrupt, that is wrong, that is bad. But there's also a very strong sense that this person is probably under the influence as well while they're doing this kind of stuff. I just think that they like to kind of plunge into the whole darkness. There's a certain liking of it. Yeah, and there's going to be some clarity about his approach, maybe from Jane's account, because I feel that this is like the offer and someone that is coming forward with clarity. So he makes an approach. And that's why I don't think that they have moved completely over. But I feel like there was an end, but they're wanting to control everything. And I think they're holding back and in kind of like a world between worlds. Isn't that wild? Okay, will this case be solved? Will the Connecticut River Valley deaths be solved in the future? Two of Cups. I think yes. I think that in the world, there could be, again, a team of people that have worked very closely with each other that could bring this chapter to a close about who the victims were, the individual responsible. Yeah, I think that there's some, again, with this King of Pentacles, I feel like there's some people that are going to be coming back at some point in the future to work on this case. Yeah. And they will push things to go in a much smoother, less chaotic direction. There's been so much chaos with them trying to resolve this case in New Hampshire. And it looks like there's going to be some people that come back in on this that are able to maybe jumpstart past the bumps, all the challenges. And indeed, it shows, I think, that there's been issues. So tell me what you think. I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to make this too long. If you appreciate readings like this, please give me a thumbs up. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.